Hello and welcome to another video. My name is Boxiest, and today we're going to continue the What If series. What if events had gone differently? And in this What If, we're going to change the history of Cobra Kai. What if Miyagi-Do had the strongest team during the Seikai Taikai, during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6? So in this timeline, the events of Cobra Kai Season 6 would still happen. The Seikai Taikai would still be revealed to take place in Barcelona. So Daniel and Johnny would still have to pick 6 fighters to compete in the Seikai Taikai, and they would still have a hard time deciding on who would go. So much like in the original timeline, Daniel would still bring in Mike Barnes, and Mike would still do a series of challenges to determine the top students, and those challenges would carry on. In this timeline, Hawk would do a lot better during the challenges, and he would get more flags during the first flag challenge in this timeline, so Hawk would make the top 5, and Mike would still have to decide the remaining spot in Miyagi-Do's team. Those events would continue, and much like in the original timeline, Johnny would still go talk to Mike, and those events would stay the same. And the next day, Mike would still say that the last 3 were too close to call, so he would still have Devin, Kenny, and Dimitri race to get the last flag, so the challenge would begin. But in this timeline, Devin wouldn't put laxatives in Kenny's water, so Kenny would arrive at the flag first. Well, this is when Devin would show up, and she would want to take the flag from Kenny, but Kenny would be too fast, and he would avoid Devin, so Kenny would start running back to the group, and he would run past Dimitri, and he would also avoid him. So in this timeline, Kenny would get the final flag, so Kenny would be the final member on the Miyagi-Do team, and those events would carry on. Season 6 would continue. Kreese would still want to talk to Tori, but Tori still wouldn't want anything to do with Kreese. Tori's mom would still pass away, and Season 6 would carry on. Daniel and Johnny would still want to determine the captains, so Johnny would want Miguel, Robbie, and Hawk to fight for captain, and they would redo the flag challenge, and the person with the most flags in the end would win. So the challenge would begin. Miguel, Robbie, and Hawk would fight, and Robbie and Miguel would take all of Hawk's flags, so only Miguel and Robbie would be left. Miguel would be focused. Miguel would take Robbie's final flag, so Miguel would win the challenge in this timeline, and he would be Miyagi-Do's male captain, and Sam and Tori would do the same challenge, so the challenge would begin, but Tori would still be fighting with anger, and Amanda would still get a call from the hospital, and Amanda would still want to stop the challenge, so Danny would still stop the challenge in this timeline. Tori would say that she needed to fight, and that her mom would have wanted this, but Daniel and Amanda would say that she wasn't in the right headspace. But in this timeline, Johnny would say that Tori deserved to finish the challenge, so Johnny would let Tori continue the challenge. The challenge would continue. Tori would continue fighting with anger, and Sam would be worried about Tori. The fight would carry on. Sam would realize how much Tori was hurt, and how much she needed this, so Sam would decide to hold back, and Tori would take Sam's final flag. So in this timeline, Tori would defeat Sam, and she would be the girl's captain. Robbie would be happy for Tori, and he would check if she was okay. Miguel would talk to Sam, and he would tell her that he noticed that she backed off, but Sam would tell Miguel that Tori needed the win. Those events would continue, so Miyagi-Do would go to the Seikai Taikai, and Hawk would stay behind, and at the Seikai Taikai, they would be surprised to see Cobra Kai and Kreese there. Kwon would still be challenging the other dojos to a kicking competition, but Miguel wouldn't want to participate. He would say there was nothing they needed to prove. So in this timeline, Miyagi-Do would still have all their rooms. Eventually the Captain's War Challenge would begin. Miyagi-Do would be on defense, and they would still be doing Protect the Egg, but Kwon would go after Miguel, and Miguel would fight back. But in this timeline, no member from Miyagi-Do would go down, and Cobra Kai's girl captain would go down, so it would be Miyagi-Do versus the Iron Dragons. But in this timeline, the rest of the Iron Dragons wouldn't walk off, since Miyagi-Do still had the full team. So the Iron Dragons would start fighting the Miyagi-Dos. Miyagi-Do would still be doing Protect the Egg, and they would be on defense, but the Iron Dragons' offense would be stronger, and they would get through Miyagi-Do's defense. Tori would be distracted, and Zara would take advantage of this, so Zara would still take Tori down, and Miyagi-Do would still be out, so the Iron Dragons would win. The Seikai Taikai would continue. Miyagi-Do would still have to knock the other dojo off the platform, but in this timeline, Miguel would be focused, and he wouldn't be knocked off, so Miyagi-Do would be higher in the leaderboard. And during the first elimination round, they would be in 3rd place, so they would fight Polar Slight, and Miguel and Tori would start off, and they would manage to knock down some of their opponents. And in this timeline, Miguel and Tori would be focused, and neither of them would be knocked off. So in this timeline, Miyagi-Do would be Polar Slight. Those events would continue. Sensei Wolf would see Miyagi-Do as a bigger threat, and much like in the original timeline, Carmen would still be rushed to the hospital, and Johnny and Miguel would have to leave. Johnny and Danny would decide Robbie would take over as captain, and Robbie would be conflicted. Miguel would be sad that he had to give up his spot as captain, but he would also be worried about his mom. So Johnny would want Devin to take Miguel's place. And that is where I'm going to end part 1. Thank you guys for watching. What do you guys think would have happened if Miyagi-Do had the strongest team during the events of Cobra Kai Season 6? Let me know in the comments below. YouTube lets me know that the majority of you are not subscribed, so if you guys could subscribe, that would be much appreciated. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. And I'll see you guys next time.